Do you really?
I do. I just love Robert.
I have my cheat sheet.
It's not Joel. That's why I had to be good with Robert's rules.
Well, yes, because it's an effective way to curb someone like Joel.
That's why you had to be good.
Well, Maria, as I called it.
Oh.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
He resurfaced recently. He was about Evelyn. He complained to the legislature about why Evelyn was being elected to the Board of Trustees.
Oh my God. I would have been like,
We ready?
All right, great.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a report from Finance and Facilities. Chair Caswell.
All right, thank you. So we had a full agenda this month. We had two presentations at the beginning where Diane Pollard gave us an update on the consultant's report, talking to us about the recommendations. And Adam Redbun gave us an update on the student transportation issue and how we're addressing those. We then have a host of resolutions that I'll read at the board meeting, but for now, we have a half a dozen capital requests that I'll go through. We have management confidential salary and benefit increases for the upcoming year, and we also have one RFP that we're asking to have approved this month related to the Lean Six Sigma bid. And then to wrap up our meeting this past month, we had some informational updates on a data breach that happened earlier this summer. All communications were completed. I don't believe there was any known impacts to us here, but we went through the procedures to inform everybody and communicate and try to protect everyone and make them aware. So I think we handled that perfectly. And the last thing is we got an enrollment update. All right, very positive enrollment update. As of a week ago, applications and new students were up 18%, and enrollment was up 8%. So again, that was a week ago, but very positive. And that was about it.
Anyone have any questions for Chairman Caswell at Finance?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is an enrollment update from Scott.
It's exciting, Steve. Gets people.
So the numbers have really only changed slightly since we're there. We have about just under 4,200 students enrolled for a little over 47,000 credits. So it's up just under 8%. It's about 300 more students, 3,400 more credits than we had last year. It's the first time we've had an increase in enrollment in 13 years. The programs with the highest increases include aviation pilot, communications, criminal justice transfer, liberal arts humanities, performing arts, and accounting. We also have an increase of about 140 non-matriculated students, including about 45 in the new micro-credential programs in cannabis retail management and direct support professional. In terms of new students, we have 1,607, which is an 18% increase from last year, 240 more new students. So preliminary data from all the other SUNY campuses is also available now, and we perform much better than most of the other campuses. System-wide, the average or median is about 3.9% up. Locally, Orange, Columbia Green, and Ulster are up over 10%, but Rockland and Westchester are actually down, and Sullivan is up just slightly. In terms of at the university level, all SUNY enrollment's up about 5%. The university centers are about 5%. The doctoral institutions, 4.4%. The comprehensives, 4.4%. So pretty similar numbers across the system. In the community college sector, most of the increase is driven by DCC, Nassau, and Onondaga. Nassau greatly benefited from some of SUNY's initiatives this year. For one, the free application initiative, which didn't matter to us because ours is free already, theirs was not. So they had a pretty big cost because of that, but their numbers were up over 20%.
Wow.
Onondaga, on the other hand, they didn't get a great boost from those, but they have made some major partnerships with Amazon, Micron, and so they have students coming in that are funded already, and so they've had some, between their workforce is really doing the job for them. In terms of applications, we had 4,300, which is just under 18%, 4,300 applications over last year. As I mentioned earlier, our new student number is up 18%, slightly more than our application numbers. That's unusual. Usually when you have an increase in applications of that size, you're going to see a decline in the yield rate, but our yield rate of 37% is actually a little bit higher than it was last year. To give you an indication, system-wide applications were up 30%, and admitted students were up 20%, but system-wide enrollment's only up 5%. That's typically the kind of numbers you see when applications go up that much. And I think what happened at the system level, there were more applications from different students. They were competing against one another, and so they didn't have the type, what they were thinking at the individual level, they might have larger increases than they did, but because of that, they did not. Returning student enrollment is just under 2,600, about 50 students higher than last year, an increase of 2%. Any increase in returning student enrollment, given that we were down 8% last year, is a huge win. We did have an increase in retention from spring to fall, but a bigger reason for the overall increase was bringing back students who've been gone for over a year. We had 2 different initiatives that worked with that. The first was we looked at students who had earned 50+ credits. Gave them a call, told them if through DegreeWorks what they needed to do to finish their degree, so that brought in some students. And also the foundation gave a free class essentially to 40+ students who, what they would call alumni. Many of them were not graduates, however. They had also earned 40 or more credits, and it gave them a chance to come back to take something they would like to, and we're hoping some of them will continue on and try to get their degree. International students, we have 24 international students, including 8 new in transfer. 2 of the students are RAs, and 1 is the captain of the men's soccer team. That's 10 students up from 2 years ago, and it's the highest number we've had since the fall of 2017. This does not include anything from our MOA with the Pathfinder Soccer Club. I think that's something where we can still grow this population, and I think next year is a more realistic time frame to have some benefits and rewards from that MOA. Couple of notes about our advertising. A year ago, we embarked on our first AdWords digital campaign promoting all DCC programs. It's generated 1,400 inquiries, almost 550 applications, and 31% of those applications are from students who are 25+. So our enrollment has typically been 12 to 15% 25+. This is a market we need to get into if we're going to sustain enrollment. Mechatronics, we recently launched a digital campaign that's already garnered 3 corporate inquiries as well as individual student inquiries, and both the cannabis and direct support professional micro-credentials, we put those out on social media and helped us to nearly fill the cohorts. They were essentially full, but each had 1 or 2 students drop out in the first week of classes. Similarly, the residence hall is nearly full because we had a couple students drop out during that first week. We have 235 of our students in there, plus all the students from the CIA and Anderson Center. But that gives us 5 rooms, perhaps for housing insecure students over the course of the semester, which has been pretty typical that something happens over the past couple of years. Throughout the cycle, I've been warning to expect a slowdown, and I kept wondering if I was crying wolf because it kept going for a long time. The slowdown did happen. That last week before classes, which is traditionally the biggest week, was much slower this year. So we lost some ground then in terms of enrollment compared to the prior year. However, for students, it's a great thing. We were much more efficient getting them through. Last year, the average wait time was 72 minutes for a student to get registered. This year, it was down to 11. So it was a much more efficient process for them, and they did not have to sit in the hall and wait for a long time. As of this morning, tuition and fee revenue, and Donna verified this last night, was about $740,000 above where we're budgeted. That puts us in a better position for spring. We have more students here now. We should be above budget in spring as well, so it's a good sign for the rest of the year. Looking forward, we still have late start classes beginning in a little under 2 weeks, so we still have an opportunity to gain enrollment in the fall. We're starting recruitment for new students for the spring already. In fact, Mike Rowe is at the airport right now with 20 students who are looking to start in the aviation programs. The other thing we're hoping to do is improve fall to spring retention, and one initiative we're doing along that lines is a chatbot that talks with students via text from EdSites. students can ask questions, simple things like, what's the academic calendar? Where can I go to get advising? Or where's the tutoring center? And we've had over 8,000 texts from students asking questions. But it also asks them questions, and then based on the responses, lets us know if they're in danger of dropping out. And my office is managing the list. We've probably had maybe 50, 60 students come in where there's some sort of alert, whether it be mental health, whether it be just dropout, whether they need academic help, and we forward those alerts to the specific offices so they can reach out to the students. Many times the students already reached out because the text bot will respond to what office is reaching out to, but if they've not, the office will reach out to them. So we're trying to be proactive about reaching the students who might be dropping out. Finally, as concurrent enrollment, we still don't know where we're going to end up. Right now, I think we're maybe 50 to 60% of the way to where we want to be in terms of the budget. In terms of the number of sections, we're about 2/3 of what we were last year, but that's pretty much exactly what we're budgeted on. So I think we're going to be right around where our budget goal was. And I think that's all I've got. Any questions?
That was an extensive report, and I didn't hear any bad news in there whatsoever. So thank you. It's nice to hear nothing but good news about the college for a while. And the increase in students that you referenced, that we've increased more at the 25+ age, which is what we still have to do because birth rates are still declining in this state. So until that rights its way, then we're not going to have as many students potentially to come here in the first place. So, but it's exciting to hear what the programs are that are most popular as well.
Yeah. Thank
So,
you.
anybody have any questions? Thank you, Scott.
Great job, Scott.
Next item on the agenda are the liaison reports. First is DCC Foundation. Trustee Costello.
Sure, the foundation will hold its next board meeting on September the 28th. The D. David Conklin Lecture Series with guest speaker Dr. Jim Downs was well received. The foundation paid for the renovations of the Mary Louise Van Winkle Teaching and Learning Center through our Campus and Facilities Improvement Fund. The Dyson Foundation has pledged a gift of $50,000 over the next 2 years to support DCC Cares, and it is allowing us to keep $27,000 that was not awarded previously for a total gift of $77,000. The Edward and Charlotte Emery Memorial Scholarship was created with a gift of $15,000 to support students with financial need. We're fully funding 9 students that have completed their an ESL or HSE class to attend a BHS 103 class at the Family Partnership Center for the purpose of supporting their transition to credit coursework. And lastly, the foundation has purchased new tables and chairs to support the special events here on campus.
Any questions for Frank? Does a nice report as well. Nothing but positive things we're hearing tonight. So we don't have an association report because we meet, or rather they will meet. I'm not going to be here next week. But Daryl will have the report for us for October. And that's it for workshop items. So we just need to take a break until 7 o'clock.
No, we're 6:30.
That's right.
We're good. We're good to go.
I forgot we made that change at the last time.
Not going.
Oh, Lisa's
No, she's in
in
Minnesota.
Minnesota. She couldn't make it tonight. So thank you. So I will call this meeting to order at 6:52, it looks like, somewhere through there, 6:54. Would someone like to say the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Ponticello, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Frank Costello.
Present.
Mr. Stephen Caswell.
Present.
Ms. Maya Chinkon. Here. Ms. Dara Clapp.
Here.
Mr. Michael Dupree.
Present.
Ms. Angela Flesland.
Present.
Ms. Lisa Gardy. Mr. Evis Guzma.
Present.
Ms. Evelyn Panici.
Present.
Ms. Linda Pratt.
Present.
Quorum present.
Thank you. Rather than getting a motion to approve the agenda as presented, make it a motion to amend it so that we can allow, under committee reports, the first report to be from the nominating committee.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is public comment, but we have no one who's signed up for public comment. Correct, Joya? Thank you. And the next item is consideration of minutes for our meeting held on August 22nd. Has everyone had a chance to read and review?
Make a motion to approve as written.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great job, Joya, on the minutes, and that passes unanimously. This brings us to committee reports, and the first report will come from Ibis Guzman, who's the chair of the nominating committee.
Nominating committee, I received letters of interest, and pretty much the slate of officers will continue and remain the same. I did receive letters of interest from Mr. Michael Dupree to stay as chair, Ms. Eric Cloud to stay as secretary, and Ms. Angela Fleslin to stay as vice chair.
Is there a nomination to put the slate as proposed into, is there a motion to put the slate into the nomination?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, your officers thank the board for your trust that you put in us for one more year. So thank you, and we look forward to working together for another year for the college. Next item on the agenda is academic and student affairs. Lisa Gardy is not here.
I have it.
Thank you, Dara.
We heard from the foundation consultant, Diana Pollard, Executive Director of the DCC Foundation, joined the Academic and Student Affairs Committee to provide the committee with an update on the foundation consultant's report. The full report was shared with the committee, and the consultant's recommendations on the realignment were discussed. Adam Rathbun provided the committee with an update on options that are in place and being explored to provide transportation for students. Options include shuttle service between the main campus, the hangar, and DCC at Fishkill, and free rides via Dutchess County Transit. Both are funded through the SUNY Revitalization Grant. The PSA, Professional Service Alliance bylaws, were discussed. The president recommended waiting one more month to bring forward this resolution in an effort to clarify language within the bylaws. It's expected that a resolution will be brought forward in October. Enrollment, Scott Schnackenberg provided the committee with the most up-to-date information on enrollment, headcount, and credits. Resident hall occupancy and concurrent enrollment. White House office working session on community college and labor union partnerships. President Jordan provided the committee with an update on his visit to the White House on August 28, 2023. Conversations during the White House working session centered around creating strong relationships between community colleges and labor unions. Dutchess Community College was one of 2 SUNY community colleges and 12 nationwide that participated in the session, which we thought was pretty good. Convocation debriefing, Susan Rogers provided the committee with a recap on fall convocation activities held on August 24th. Move It data breach, we already discussed, but President Jordan provided the committee with an update on that. SUNY campuses were notified that a data breach related to move-out transfer software may have included personal identifying information of students, employees, and retirees. Standard protocols were followed, and all systems have been secured. Nursing admissions criteria, Raymond Houston provided the committee with an update on revisions to the nursing admissions criteria. Changes to the criteria are being explored in effort to strengthen and grow the program. And finally, the mechatronics lab grand opening is scheduled for October 6th at 11 a.m. at DCC Fishkill.
Any questions for Dara? Thank you, Trustee Cloud, very much for your report. Next item on the agenda is board policy, chaired by Ibis Guzman.
The board policy committee met September 13th. We went over some of the same information for the student transportation, where Adam let us know of similar items that Dara just spoke of. With the policies, the committee reviewed the granting stipends for management confidential employees, travel policy, use of college facilities by third parties for free speech, and which will be reaffirmed at tonight's meeting. Revisions were also made to the disposal of surplus equipment policy to include the procedure for disposing of equipment, including that which is valued under $1,000. This policy will also be reaffirmed by the board at this meeting. And also the board policy committee reviewed a new policy on remote meetings under extraordinary circumstances. As per open meetings law, a public hearing will be conducted and this policy will be brought forward to the public hearing and approval at the October 2023 meeting for the Board of Trustees. We also went over the mechatronics lab grand opening, which will be this Friday, 11 a.m.
No.
No, October 6th.
Definitely not.
I've got a lot going on. Sorry.
It's okay.
So from this point forward, I do have a few resolutions to offer to the board. First, we're going to start with resolution number 2024-01. I offer the following resolution and move to its adoption, whereas in keeping with good governance practices, the Board of Trustees Policy Committee reviews board and college administrative policies on a regular basis, and be it resolved that based upon the recommendations of the policy committee, the affirmation policy on granting stipends for management confidential employees is hereby affirmed and is to remain in effect, and be it further resolved that the board reconsider this policy again within 5 years or earlier should it be determined revisions are needed prior to the scheduled review date.
Is there a second? Thank you, Angela. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries.
I offer the following resolution number 2024-2. I offer the following resolution and move to its adoption, where be it resolved that based upon the recommendations of the policy committee, the aforementioned travel policy is hereby reaffirmed and is to remain in effect, and be it further resolved that the board reconsider this policy again within 5 years or earlier should it be determined revisions are needed prior to the scheduled review date.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
For the following resolution, number 2024-3, I offer the following resolution and move to its adoption. Be it resolved that based upon the recommendations of the policy committee, the aforementioned policy on the use of facilities by third parties for free speech is hereby reaffirmed and is to remain in effect, and be it further resolved that the board reconsider this policy again within 5 years or earlier should it be determined revisions are needed prior to the scheduled review date.
Second.
Thank you, Linda. Any questions or further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And my last one, I offer resolution number 2024-4. And offer the following resolution and move to its adoption. Be it resolved that based upon the recommendation of the policy committee and review by the Board of Trustees, the revised policy on the disposal of surplus equipment which is attached and shall be made part of the official minutes of this meeting is hereby approved, and be it further resolved that this policy shall be effective immediately, and be it further resolved that the board reconsider this policy again within 5 years or earlier should it be determined revisions are needed prior to the scheduled review date.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Abis, and I believe that we owe some thanks to Trustee Caswell. I think you're the one who revised the last one. You caught it? It was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Abis. I should have added as well that all the committees, when they meet, discuss the resolutions, and the underlying reasons for them when the committees do meet. And I have said it, I think, on 3 of the 4 this last time. So it's a pleasure to work with you chairs of the smaller committees. Next item on the agenda is Finance and Facilities, so it's back to you, Steve.
All right, thank you. So at the Finance Committee meeting this month, we also got the foundation, the DCC Foundation consultant report update, as well as the student transportation update and the overview of the data breach. And there was 2 other topics that we discussed in the meeting that did impact our budget, or will impact our budget. One is the management confidential salary benefits increase. You'll hear more about that in the Personnel and Committee Relations Committee. And we got the enrollment update, which you heard about during the workshop, again, which will have a positive impact to our budget. Through the increase in enrollment, we expect, a $700,000 or so, benefit to our budget this coming year. So that's all positive news for us. And then there's 2 other topics which I have resolutions for tonight. The first one are capital requests. Adam Ruthven reviewed these capital requests with us at the committee, and there's 7 requests that I'll now go through one by one with you for tonight. So the first resolution I offer is 2024-05. I offer this and move its adoption. Resolved that the following capital project be hereby authorized and approved in the amount indicated below. That being the project of furniture, fixtures and equipment and technology replacements and upgrades. The estimated cost is $400,000, with the New York State share being $200,000 and the county's share, our sponsor, being $200,000. And be it further resolved that this resolution be forwarded to Dutchess County Legislature for their consideration.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next resolution, 2024-06. I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Resolved that it hereby determined pursuant to the provisions of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, 8 NYE-ECL, Section 0101, and its implementing regulations, Part 617 of 6 NYCRR, that this project is a Type 2 action with the meanings of Section 617.5 C 1 and 2 of the NYCRR, and accordingly is of a class of action which does not have a significant impact on the environment, and no further review is required. And be it further resolved that the following capital project is hereby authorized and approved in the amount indicated below. The project name is Campus Site Repairs and Upgrade. This is Phase 3. Has a total estimated cost of $2.2 million, the state share being $1.1 million, and the county, our sponsor, share being $1.1 million. And be it further resolved that this resolution be forwarded to the Dutchess County Legislature for its consideration.
Second.
Thank you, Linda. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries as well.
All right, next resolution is 2024-7, and I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Again, a lot of environmental quality review numbers. Maybe I can summarize this a bit here. Resolved that it is hereby determined pursuant to the provisions of the State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations, that this project is a Type 2 action within the meanings of Section 617.5, and accordingly is of a class of actions which does not have a significant impact on the environment, and no further review is required. And be it further resolved that the following capital project is hereby authorized and approved in the amount indicated below. The project name in this case is CBI Replacement of Rooftop Units. The estimated cost is $3,309,000. The state share will be $1,654,500, and the county sponsor share is also $1,654,500. And be it further resolved that this resolution will be forwarded to the Dutchess County Legislature for its consideration.
Second.
Thank you, Linda. Any further discussion? I'm just going to offer something real quickly to everybody. So under SEEKR, the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and your environmental conservation law, the DEC determines that some actions are type 2 in advance. And once they determine that, then you don't have to worry about any impacts at all. So what they're doing is just referencing that this is the kind of improvement that has already been determined by the Department of Environmental Conservation, that it won't have any environmental impacts. So, that noted. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries as well.
All right, next resolution, 2024-8. I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Resolved, it is hereby determined pursuant to the provisions of the State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations that this project is a type 2 action within the meanings of section 617.5 and accordingly is of a class of actions which do not have a significant impact on the environment and no further review is required. And be it further resolved that the following capital project is hereby authorized and approved in the amount indicated below. In this resolution, the project name is Sports Field Improvements. The total estimated cost is $2 million. Again, the state is responsible for one half, that's $1 million, and the county for the other half, which is $1 million. And be it further resolved that this resolution will be forwarded to the Dutchess County Legislature for its consideration.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yep.
How many students participate in the baseball program on campus?
The
Anyone know
roster's on the
that?
website.
Do we have any, like, other, I mean, aside from the team, are there clubs that would use that? Same for softball and soccer.
There is an intramural program from year to year. It varies how many students participate in intramurals.
Approximately.
I wouldn't be able to hazard a guess.
It's not a lot because the field is not usable
Right.
now, so there's nobody participating.
So part of what we're focused on is making sure that we have the facilities that students can access and use, whether they're on a sports team or they're interested in recreational sports as well.
What is the current cost to rent the facilities that we're renting? I believe it's at Lord's.
Right. We provided that information before. I don't have that.
Sometimes it's
on
trade
hand.
for use
Yeah.
of that as well. It's not always a direct cost.
Is it not only soccer usage as well?
Yes.
Okay. I can't support something without the appropriate information, so I will be voting no this evening. They can't spend $2 million without knowing how many students are using this, what our current cost is, and what the actual cost to the college is. So I will be a no vote on this resolution.
I think it would almost have to be an historic look back when we used to have actual fields to see how many students were using it. Bridget?
If I may, because
Please.
I'm one of the only people that was here back in the day.
Yeah.
It's true.
We used to, and I can't give you the numbers, but I know just being in facilities, we always were renting out the soccer field to, we had other schools coming and different groups using it, and also the baseball team. It was, you know, whereas we're going to other places to use their fields, they used to come to us. And we don't see that now.
We don't have anything to lease
Yeah, but I
out.
think with so many high schools now having turf fields and Dutchess Stadium existing the way it is, I think times have also changed where a lot of schools already have these facilities and wouldn't be looking to rent them. So I don't know if we really would be seeing a positive cash flow impact to the college.
I actually spoke to two coaches at Pine Plains who are alums of DCC, who jumped on the topic of all the possibilities in bringing people to DCC if we had good fields. They thought it was an incredible attraction and that there's a lot of possibility and potential in it.
I would also.
And they are very happy to come and talk to us about it.
And it was also partly the travel program. You know, I coached for many years for all these search fields, whether it's
Linda?
That was my point. I mean, I have two nephews who play, and they're on, like, it's not just their school that they play on travel, they're like on 3 different travel teams, and they're always looking for facilities that aren't necessarily based at their high schools.
However, there are municipalities that are removing their fields too.
Correct.
My municipality is taking all their baseball fields out because they can't rent them. They haven't been rented in many, many years, and they're beautiful fields. But soccer seems to be a little bit more popular, and their soccer fields are renting, and they've decided to take that field out, and they're using it as a Gaelic football field.
Wow. Wow. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays and abstentions?
Nay.
Nay.
2 nays, the rest supported. So the motion carries.
It needs 2/3, right?
Pardon?
Doesn't it need 2/3?
No, because we're not.
We're not the ones actually
Yeah, we're not
spending
the
the
actual
money.
spending it, right.
Yeah, must be forwarded.
Yep.
The large-
Back to you,
the large
Steve.
is 2/3 now.
Thank
All
you.
right, I still have a couple more to go here. The next one is Resolution 2024-9. I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Resolved, it is hereby determined pursuant to the provisions of the State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations that it is, that this project is a Type 2 action within the meanings of Section 617.5, and accordingly is of a class of actions which do not require significant impact or do not have a significant impact on the environment, and no further review is required. And be it further resolved that the following capital project is hereby authorized and approved in the amount indicated below. This project is called ADA Upgrades. Total estimated cost of $1,465,000. The New York State share is $732,500, and the sponsor's share, Dutchess County, is $732,500. And be it further resolved that this resolution will be forwarded to Dutchess County Legislature for its consideration.
Second.
So moved.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Thank you, motion carries.
Next resolution, 2024-10. I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Resolved, it is hereby determined pursuant to the provision of the State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations, Part 617C, that this project is a Type 2 action within the meanings of Section 617, and accordingly is of a class of actions which do not have a significant impact on the environment, and no further review is required. So be it further resolved that the following capital project is hereby authorized and approved in the amount indicated below. This project name is Hudson Hall Interior Reconfigurations, Phase 1, has a total estimated cost of $3,666,000. New York State share is $1,833,000, and the county's share is $1,833,000. And be it further resolved that this resolution will be forwarded to the Dutchess County Legislature for its consideration.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Only 2 more, Steve.
Resolution 2024-11. I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Resolved, it has been determined pursuant to the provisions of the State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations that this project is a Type 2 action within the meanings of Section 617.5C, and accordingly is of a class of action which do not have a significant impact on the environment, and no further review is required. Be it further resolved that the following capital project is hereby authorized and approved in the amount indicated below. This project name is DCC Fishkill Modifications, with a total estimated cost of $973,000. The New York State share is $486,500, and the Dutchess County share is $486,500. And be it further resolved that this resolution be forwarded to the Dutchess County Legislature for its consideration.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries as well. Thank you.
All right, so for this last resolution, the committee, it was Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma bid. So the committee reviewed the bid sheet and the information submitted by the John D. Romey Center for Quality and Applied Statistics at the Rochester Institute of Technology for Lean Six Sigma training. So this resolution is to, award the contract under that RFP. So, this is Resolution 2024-12. I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the Department of Workforce Education and Development wishes to offer Lean Six Sigma Yellow and Green Belt training to local employees, and whereas a request for proposal was duly advertised and requested for Department of Workforce Education and Development customized Lean Six Sigma training on a multi-year basis, and whereas requests for proposals were received as a result of this solicitation and were publicly opened at 3 p.m. on August 17, 2023, whereas the John Romey Center of Quality and Applied Statistics at the Rochester Institute of Technology proposal was determined to be satisfactorily, that it satisfactorily meets all of the requirements of the RFP, and whereas the college has used this vendor in the past and we've been very satisfied with the services it provides, and whereas the feedback received from employees has been positive, and whereas the cost of training is either covered by grant funding or paid for directly by the corporations, now therefore be it resolved that the request for proposal received from customized Lean Six Sigma training in accordance with the specifications be awarded to the John D. Romey Center for Quality and Applied Statistics at the Rochester Institute of Technology, Rochester, New York, for a period of 1 year, with the option to extend the contract for 3 additional 1-year periods.
Second.
Thank you, Linda. Any further discussion or questions?
In the resolution, it says employers, not employees, and I was just wondering which it is.
It's employers.
It's employers, because we would have
Employers.
corporations
Right.
sending their
Okay.
employees to
Got it.
be trained by us.
Great.
Yeah.
Good question, though. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Steve, for having to go through all this
All right,
at
thank
one
you.
time. Next item on the agenda is Personnel and Community Relations, chaired by Vice Chair Angela Fleslin.
Okay, Personnel Committee met last Thursday. We spoke about many of the things that you have heard my colleagues talk about, and in addition, spoke about personnel matters at length. There are 2 resolutions that will come before the committee this evening. Resolution 2024-13, I offer the following, move its adoption. Whereas it has been determined that to meet the needs of the college, the following new titles will need to be created. AVP for Enrollment and Student Success, Computer Information Security Officer, Director of Development, Director of Diversity and Compliance and Title IX Coordinator, Nursing Program Administrator, Coordinator of Annual Giving and Communications, Professional Tutor, PTech Liaison, Coordinator of HVAC Programming, AVP for Institutional Advancement, Assistant Director of Admissions, Director of Campus Safety and Project Management. Whereas Section 35 of the Civil Service Law requires the title determination of positions in the professional service be made by the Board of Trustees, now therefore be it resolved that approval is hereby given to create the aforementioned titles above. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Before I read Resolution 24, I just want to make note that the attachment did was amended previously before the meeting to include a management confidential increase to the president that is 4% like the rest of the management confidential staff. Resolution 2024-14, I offer the following and move its adoption. Whereas salaries for management confidential employees have also been determined for 2023-24, now therefore be it resolved that the 2023-24 fiscal year, the salaries listed in the attached are approved effective September 1st, 2023, and the president is hereby authorized to prepare contracts up to the amount specified in the attached document, which will be made part of the official minutes of this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Any further discussion or questions? Everyone in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. Just again to point out that the increase is consonant or the same as what's offered under due contracts to our employees. Next item on the agenda is report of the student trustee. Maya.
Good evening, everyone. So the 2023 and 2024 academic year is off to a busy start for everyone on campus and the members of the SGA. On September 12th, we had a SGA meeting, and John Meagle came to the meeting to introduce new ideas for the DCC logo. SGA members were excited to bring our perspectives for the logo that is appealing to students and how that can contribute to the college's marketing efforts. A new club was also approved by SGA. This is the Muslim Club. The concept of it is to bring awareness about the Islamic faith and increase diversity, equity, and inclusion on the campus. We've also been looking forward to working with all these new board leaders and across the DCC campus to bring our perspective on issues impacting students. Student leaders are particularly excited about the upcoming dinner with the board. The meeting is a more informal manner to share our backgrounds and experiences that gives us the opportunity to create meaningful change on campus. And then lastly, Falcon Fest occurred on September 6th and the 7th. The SGA had a table to showcase the activities and the many activities, and many people signed up to be members in the SGA. We did fill vacant spots for Vice President, Chief of Justice, and the CIA. We also gained about 5 new members for the State of Senate, so that's very exciting as well. And that's it.
Any questions for Maya? Thank you. I'm going to report in my own about Falcon Fest too, because it was hot, but I had a good time, I have to say. But the heat was pretty intense. So the next item on the agenda is my report. Let me start by saying that a generous donor funded the Veterans Resource Center's purchase of new laptop computers and carry bags for veterans. And at our fall convocation, which I also had the pleasure to attend at least the morning portion of it, we heard about the new direct support professional micro-credential program. For everyone who, I didn't know what that term meant, I do now. It's for people who are basically home health care aides, providing, they can do accounting, banking for the individual that needs assistance, as well as provide food, make some decisions with healthcare. It's a big, broad area. And it's definitely a growing field because people are trying to stay age in place these days. So, and the speaker was really passionate about it as well. It's also, I learned there that DCC Cares is also working to connect students to the wraparound funds provided by the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, or OPWDD grant. For athletics, our volleyball team is currently 4-1 and ranked 8th in the nation in polls, which is kind of cool to me. We have 5 returning players and 7 freshmen. The college is also formalizing a pipeline that will successfully bring ESL and HSE, English as a Second Language, students from our family services campus to DCC to pursue college credit coursework. And I will also add that when I went to fall college, the convocation, it was again not the norm. The speakers were all addressing our 4 lenses in the strategic plan: students, learning, community, and growth. But it was also fun because Susan Rogers got to play sort of a talk show host on that. The format was just very different than what it used to be. I'll put it that way. It's less formal and I think a lot more nimble and fun. Under grants we've received, we have a $1.1 million SUNY transformation grant to expand the college's training and expand the pipeline of skilled talent for heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration mechanics, located at our new mechatronics and workforce development labs at DCC Fishkill. The proposed HVAC program will be the most comprehensive program in the Mid-Hudson region. We were also awarded a SUNY internship grant of $160,000 to provide stipends and funds for wraparound services such as transportation, childcare, and tuition support for about 50 students over the next 3 years. And at Falcon Fest, President Jordan and I spent a good hour sweating, but talking with students and then staffing the booths at this year's festival. And I have to say it was very well attended. Students looked happy, and I hadn't been to one of these in forever, so it was really nice just to be back on campus with people again. It felt like it sort of did before COVID for the first time in forever. Also, with what Maya was reporting, so at our next meeting, we will have dinner with student leaders before we start our workshop and meeting. And that hasn't been done in a long time either, so I just want to say, it really is a great opportunity to chat with kids, let me rephrase that, with younger people, students. But you will find out, the way we typically have done this is we mingle up the students with the trustees, so we're not all seated together. And we both talk to our left, talk to our right, and then we kind of report on what we learned.
Okay.
So it's been fun. We used to do a meeting with the international students. I think it was a lunch that I would love to start that back up if it's possible. Because I feel like I learned a lot when I was talking to them too about how they chose DC, how they learned about it in the first place, and why they chose to come here. But at any rate, we're having the meeting, the dinner beforehand, so just make sure that you remember to come early. And that's my report. Any questions? Then, next item on the agenda is Peter's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to talk about two things. The first is to express my thanks and appreciation to all members of the DCC community for the diligent and hard work that they did to open this academic year. The year got off to a great start. A lot of vibrant activities. You heard from Trustee Chinkan about Falcon Fest and from our board chair. But also Convocation was a really high energy kind of event as well. So I want to thank faculty, staff, and students for getting the year off to a tremendous start. I appreciate all that you do. The second thing I want to touch on, the visit to the White House that Trustee Cloud talked about. Not to repeat what she said, but to express my personal kind of pride in being invited to that event representing DCC as one of two community colleges within the SUNY system, and one of 12 community colleges that were invited from around the country. So the event I thought was really very productive. It was 2 hours of intense conversations with members of the administration, with labor union leadership, as well as community colleges, and some additional representatives from the Professional Association for Community Colleges, as well as the Association of Community College Trustees. One of the things that, in addition to what you heard before, that the group felt was important was having the administration uplift or lift up the programs that we are trying to stand up in our different regions of the country. So we've been working to get someone or someones from the administration to participate in our October 6th grand opening for Mechatronics. This afternoon, Susan and I had the privilege of being in a meeting with a senior advisor from the Office of the First Lady of the United States, because they are considering coming to visit Poughkeepsie and us on October 6th. It's not a done deal. The logistics, they're not sure will work out. One of the things that we're facing is perhaps a shutdown of government, so that could throw a crimp in that particular plan. But it's exciting. It's exciting on behalf of DCC to be recognized and to have that level of interest in what we're doing here in the Hudson Valley and at DCC. So that's the extent of my report.
Anybody have any questions or comments? I mean,
Congratulations. I just thrilled.
I was on the phone with them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just got off the phone with the White House and the Office of the First Lady." I went, "What?" He just said it so casually as well. So it's like, this is a big deal. So fingers are crossed that this will actually happen. It's going to be a busy day on October 6th for you.
Yeah.
And I guess for me too, now that I've been assigned radio duty at 6:30 in the morning, so fortunately, I'm an early riser, thank heavens, so it will be a very long day possibly. Next item is other business. Do we have any items coming under other business? If there are none, the date of the next meeting is October 24th. Remember, we have our meal beforehand with the student leaders. And may I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure as always.
Dad, the whole meeting, Dad, the whole meeting, I was so envious of you with your shawl on.
I'm always cold in this room.